Starting from the bottom and being here is great in a quick fashion. However, when your audience doesn't care about you, but instead the trend you embody, it's easy to slip away from the public eye as fast as you made it there. But when you're truly different and create your own lane, it'll take a long time for people to accept you. But your core audience will stick around, and that means that you'll only grow from there. People will be able to feel your passion through your art, and will become true fans because you care. Over time, the people that were up here when you were down here will be even lower. They'll be below the screen. That's how low they are. And you'll be above the screen. You'll be all the way up here. This is the art of the slow rise. Tyler, the Creator, explains this best in his Hot 97 radio station interview, where he goes on many tangents about random things.
I really love trunks.
Or trunk.
You can explain getting a $10,000 trunk to put 3 pairs of pants
Would
in
you
it?
calm down? We're having trunk talk. See, this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. You're squashing our love.
I think
for
you're
trunks.
thinking more of the price rather than the actual piece
No,
of how
it's
great
cool.
it's put together, how it'll last for
Yes.
longer than we're alive, and the price in 50 years is more than having to keep buying a bag if you keep that piece, if your lifestyle permits that you're going to be traveling for a long time. Now, again, it's reference point.
But you can feel his passion through the way he talks about these things. He really does care about everything that he's talking about. And that's part of the reason why he is successful, is because he cares about his art. He cares about his music. And you can tell because he slowly rose.
Hey, I'm going to get a Grammy, and I'm saying this around the Goblin Time. People are like, ooh, this nigga is tripping.
Take it all the way back to 2011. Tyler, the Creator, was no star, and he was way different. His controversial music, his sense of fashion, or fashion sense, I could have just said that, and his general distaste for old people.
Okay, now what about your lyrics?
What about them?
What are you saying in your lyrics?
Nothing. Shit to piss old white people off like you.
Really just set him apart from people like J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, who, in their own ways, were the complete opposite of all of that. But it did have somewhat diminishing returns at the beginning of his career. He was different to the point where people didn't like him, but he was familiar enough in hip-hop culture to be something that was worth seeing the development of. But he did have a set of core fans, so he could only grow because the core fans weren't going to leave. He had his foundation, and it was only time to build up. And that's what we saw. He kept improving through releases like Wolf and Cherry Bomb, where, yes, they weren't good projects, but they did show hints of improvement in his career. This eventually culminated in Flower Boy. What does he have, 7 or 8 albums, and his last 4 are goated? He made that transition from edgy, alternative hip-hop. It was very experimental at that time, the more structured and emotional sound. Flower Boy really was like a transition for Tyler into the second part of the slow rise, where now he has nowhere to go but up, and he's going up. But yes, Flower Boy was when the upturn started, and now he's been on a 4-album run that is just unrecognizable from where he was beforehand. My favorite one's Call Me If You Get Lost, because I like a lot of the hip-hop cuts in that album. The times where he raps in Chromacopia, my favorite part's of Chromacopia. I'm not I like his singing portions, but they're not my favorite. I think he's better at rapping than he is singing. I don't think his singing's bad or anything. And honestly, in terms of hip hop in general, it makes sense that the people that experience the slow rise at the beginning of their career are at the top, because the slow rise is built into hip-hop's DNA. Literally at the start of hip-hop's existence, it wasn't accepted until the late 80s, and then even then it didn't become a commercial juggernaut until the late 90s to early 2000s, and now it's the most popular genre on earth, so no big deal. But you know what is intrinsically linked through culture to hip-hop? Basketball.
I might buy a boat. Depends if Capri got space, don't really need one. I could go in the winter time, baby, I bleed sun. Find another nigga like me, cause I ain't seen none. Pull up in that, whatchamacallit. Played a couple demos at Madison Square Garden. And tell them motherfuckers that Sony I'm not calling. I'm plotting on a Billy Chili in my garden. Yo.
Hey, so the next section isn't even about Giannis, so sorry if I misled you or anything, I just felt like adding that part. Michael Jordan famously didn't make it into his varsity high school team, but he cared and was willing to improve, just like Tyler. He was willing to take criticism and actually improve, instead of just saying oh, they're hating. I'm goated. He made it far enough in high school to make it to college. He made it far enough in college to make it to the NBA. This man didn't even make the team his freshman year, and he was cooking people in the NBA. Needless to say, he got better. He still had a little bit of room for improvement. See, he wasn't winning any championships, which honestly doesn't define your quality as a basketball player. Like, you can still be great and not have championships. But the thing is at the time, people were really stressing that Michael should get a championship if he wants to be considered a great. So what did he do? He had to improve. But it wasn't only him. To get a championship, you have to improve as a team. So they got better players, they got a better coach, and in 1991, all this hard work paid off whenever they won the 1991 NBA championship.
Scholarship fund. Michael Jordan with 30 points. The Bulls lead by 7. Final seconds, Magic's three-point attempt blocked. Pippen comes away with it. And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
It wasn't as good as 2016.
Cleveland! This is for you!
But they did it, and this was the start of a run no one's ever seen before. I'm hyping this up so much. Oh, 1992, had that in the bag. Oh, 1993, had that in the bag. Left for 2 years, came back in 1996, and he was cooking straight heat on a griddle. 1997, in the bag. 1998, with the push-off?
Stockton, Harper's on him, behind the screen. Harper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their second three-peat.
I'm sure you guys can see how this reflects Tyler's story. Those two kind of followed the same archetype where they had to improve to really be accepted. But the other one is a little bit different. Sometimes it's not even your fault that you aren't accepted. Sometimes it's just the time you were born. Someone that hasn't really changed that much, but their image changed with the times, was someone like Nardoir. He's literally been doing the same thing for like 20, 30 years almost, but him sticking to it is really what makes him special, because he got bullied by people like Henry Rollins and Blur. No clue who they are. But no, in all seriousness, people like Pharrell, like, they were able to understand the true quality of Nardoir's interviews. And that's why in their interview, it's like, it's peaceful. Like, people that really understood art and people that really understand how to interview someone really appreciate Nardoir, because his interviews are really great. There's a reason people like Tyler, the Creator, keep coming back to Nardoir's interviews. Over the last few decades, he's literally interviewed so many people, and Kai Cenat finally gave him his flowers for putting in all that work and going through so much, even though everybody pretty much just told him to F off. And if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. You know what else is inspiring? Hitting that subscribe. My script fell. But no, in all seriousness, I would like a subscribe button hit. I'm at like 54 subs right now because I decided to focus on this channel. I have a whole short about it. Just watch the short. It's probably have the link in the description. But yeah, see you in the next one. And remember, a day without laughter is a day wasted. Dude, I swear to God, if my audio messes up one more time, like if I go back to the recording and I have no audio and I have to record this for a 4th time, dude, I'm